The issue is that you're not expressing yourself. We're experiencing higher depression and anxiety because we are suppressing our self-expression, and therefore our aliveness is dulled. Our life force, our prana, is shrunken. And we expect that this anxiety or depression goes away, and we're questioning why we feel the way we feel, but we're living in this in between because we are so scared of rejection, abandonment, feeling like a failure, taking risk, and therefore we don't get to experience the high highs of our lives. We don't get to feel the energy move through us because we are trying to play it safe. And when we're trying to play it safe, it's because we are scared that our full individuality, our full expression is going to be too much, or it's going to be not enough. Too much, not enough, and we are stuck in this middle ground, feeling like we're hitting these glass ceilings, but these glass ceilings are created by us. These glass ceilings are because we are not allowing ourselves permission to fully express, because other people might have told us along the line, down somewhere along the line, that our full self-expression was going to lead us into a place that we deemed as scary, or they deemed as not realistic, or too much, too big of a dream. And they said, shrink your voice, or calm down, or don't do that. And therefore, we say, okay, that light that I feel inside of me, that aliveness I feel in me, that creativity I feel in me, clearly is not loved. It's not accepted. And so when we start to reclaim these lost parts of selves, we get to come back into aliveness. And so ask yourself this week, what parts of you come back online when you're in your full authentic expression? When you are fully expressed, who are you? When you're fully expressed, what parts of you just feel like, a sigh of relief? Thank you so much. I missed you. I missed you giving me this permission. What parts of you come back online? The part of you that just feels free. The part of you that's a creative wild child. The part of you that is like, that rests. The part of you that is in community. The part of you that isn't a hermit. The part of you that gives yourself space to be alone. The part of you, what is it? The part of you that travels, that explores, that takes risks. Like, who is this part of you? The part of you that nurtures, the part of you that's soft, the part of you that's determined, the part of you that's like a warrior. What part of you brings you alive? And within that, what emotions do you get to feel in your life when you're in that full expression, in your individuality? Because when we aren't fully expressed, it's likely because we're enmeshing with somebody else's story. When we're not fully expressed, we're taking on the viewpoints of the world, and we're saying, I can't be fully expressed. It's not allowed. And therefore, we aren't in full connection with ourselves. We aren't independently listening to our life force, our prana. We're saying, somebody else told me, maybe based on their life force or their prana or their fear and their protective mechanisms, that I can't be that that's not realistic, that that's not okay. And so we start maneuvering. If you look at this through the lens of parts work, I do this with a lot of my clients. Many of our parts, our manager parts, are maneuvering. And so we're maneuvering all these different fears and stories, our own stories and other people's stories, our attachment fears of rejection and intimacy and abandonment. And we're navigating all these things, and it's making us express in ping-pongy ways, projected ways. And when we're expressing that way, there's no alignment because we're ping-ponging all over the place. When true alignment means we are operating from our heart out to the world, or we're operating from an anchor point in our truth up to the sky. And we are becoming a conduit, a direct conduit, down, up, and in to out, where we're authentic, when we're true, when we're connected, when we're operating with discernment, when we are a clear channel, when we are in alignment. We're in alignment when there's clarity. We're not in alignment when we are navigating, when we are allowing other people's fears to inhibit our truth. When we're being manipulated or allowing ourselves to be manipulated, when we're living in our head versus our heart, when we are shrinking to make somebody else comfortable, when we are allowing ourselves to be controlled, or when we are listening to somebody else's voice over our own, when we are appeasing versus setting clear boundary. These are all different ways that we lose ourselves in relationship, because we all want love and belonging. And when we operate this way, we wonder why we feel dulled. We wonder why we feel stunted. We wonder why we aren't attracting abundance, because we aren't aligned with our truth. We are navigating other people's. We are navigating other people's operation with us and letting it determine the way that we show up. We're letting it determine our life force. We're letting it determine our self-expression. We're letting it determine our creativity. We're letting it determine our worth. And your worth is not based on them. Your worth is based on your heart and sharing your gifts with the world. And we cannot receive life's gifts if we're not surrendering. And that surrender requires us to surrender to our life force, surrender to our heart, surrender to our truth, surrender to what really makes us alive, what makes you feel alive, because what makes you feel alive is different than what makes me feel alive. And all together, we get to start showing up in our full expression versus trying to stay in this comfortable middle ground to keep ourselves safe, when really it's not safe, because we don't feel safe in our bodies, in ourselves, when we're not operating in truth. So yes, there's more risk when we get out of this in-between zone and we start to express our full truth. There's more risk. We might lose people. Yeah, it might mean that we have to detach from things that we've known, because you either get to choose authenticity or you choose dimming yourself to stay connected to some things that you've known. And so this is where attachment comes in. Insecure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment stems from navigating other people's stories, navigating stories and pains that were put onto us as truth, and denying our own life force, denying our own prana, denying our full expression, denying our own breath of life. And that breath of life allows things to move through us. And as things move through us, we're going to experience high highs and low lows. We're going to experience the fullness of being human. The fullness of being human means we are fully expressed in taking risk, in sharing our truth, in sharing our boundaries, in sharing our light, in creating, and sometimes that creating not going the way you planned. But you're going to attract more learning along the way. And so as you move through continuing to explore, what is my individuality mean and what does togetherness mean? Ask yourself, who are you putting yourself around, and is their togetherness with you serving your light? Are they seeing your value and valuing you for what you bring? Are they making you dull? Are they making you shrink? Are they making you, and no one is making you do anything, but what are they doing to your energy field? What are they doing to your life force? What do they make you feel about yourself? Because other people's light can illuminate where we're not free. So when somebody else is in their full expression, sometimes it's contagious and other times it's scary. And so if you're in your full expression and somebody else has a problem with it, it's because you're shining a light on a truth in them that they haven't been looking at, a closet that they've locked that they need to go into. And so having yourself, choosing people to be around, environments to be around, places to be around, and stories that you tell yourself that honor your truth, that honor your value, that make you feel your own value is the best thing that you can give yourself and give the world. And so in total, how can you show up more in your aliveness? Because you deserve to feel so alive. You deserve to be in your full expression. And yeah, it might bring up fears, but that is your pathway to your greatest version of self, to your utmost abundance, to your utmost freedom, and to the most healthy relationships you can ever have in your life that honor all parts of you, not just the parts of you that help them feel more comfortable.